All right, what is going on today, chat? What up? What up? Card, welcome. Brandon, welcome. Rise, thank you for liking the live. Appreciate you. What is going on, my friends? Got some cool cards to cover today. So what up? What up? Hopefully you guys are having a good Wednesday. Episode 71 of Grade Review. Always exciting day. Hopefully you guys are having a good one. Black and White got a new upcoming announcement from the Pokemon Company officially today. So that's always cool. Start seeing those cards. Hopefully we'll actually see them in stores, but only time will tell. John, Alana, welcome. All right, I think since we have a max day today, so we have our maximum. Hakan, what's going on? So we have a max day today. So we have 20 cards that we have to review. So a lot to cover. A lot to cover. And as a reminder, I think I mentioned this last time, but in the last issue for PSA of their magazine, they made an announcement saying that we will be able to submit cards directly to PSA from eBay orders of raw cards assessed at 250 or more. So all the techniques and everything that you're going to be seeing today can also apply to there as that need or as that want rises. Chris, what's going on over on Twitch? What's going on, brother? So all these techniques are going to ultimately be needed if you want to make some really quick decisions and really fast buys on eBay once that becomes more official. So, and a lot of people, you know, say, oh, use AI apps and whatever when you're buying online. But let me tell you, when eBay and everyone else has the same access, you want to be as quick as possible. So that is what we're going to be going over today. But without further ado, we are going to get right into it. So for those of you who are new, first, I want to welcome you to the stream. My name is Galaxia Gaming, and every Wednesday we do what's called Grade Review, where we review community members' cards that have submitted through our Discord, and for free, we review these cards, and I give my assessment on what I think these cards would get as a PSA grade. So I've been grading since 2017, and throughout that entire time, I've been keeping basically an accuracy score that I've given in stream a few times. I have to update it here soon, but we're going to be going over that. So you guys are also going to be involved in kind of keeping me in check or pointing out things that I may miss. So ultimately, both myself and the chat and the community will be able to kind of help each other out with grading, because we all know grading right now is extremely popular, more so than it ever has been with the accessibility of GameStop and what is going to be upcoming, where eBay, you will be able to buy cards directly from eBay. And I bet, mark my words, I bet TCG Player will also have the same functionality here sooner rather than later. So we are going to get right into it. So first, we're going to be starting off with the subscribers. So in the pilot tier, so it's the second highest tier, is our boy Frazzle. So Frazzle, thank you so much for being a sub, and we're going to get right into your cards. So first up, probably my favorite chase of the Destined Rivals set, which is Cynthia's Garchomp. So we are going to be doing an assessment as though we are sending into PSA, although if you have another preferred grading company like BGS, CGC, TAG, or however else, all of what we're going to be covering more or less can kind of translate over to any grading company. So we are going to just kind of start with assuming you're going to grade with PSA, and then you can kind of take or leave whatever you want to. So for those of you who are new here, the 4 main grading criteria that we'll be going over today is centering, corners, edges, and surface. So all 4 are extremely important. No, Chris. I've been baited by that before, my friend. I'm not, since I don't speak Spanish fluently, there's not much. I can say adios, and buenas noches, and gracias. And taco, and llama. Or llama. So yeah, we're going to look at this Cynthia's Garchomp. So first, we're going to start off with the centering. So the first thing that we kind of see here is the top looks a little bit thicker than the bottom. So what I'm going to be doing, and you guys yelled at me last time, so I'm gonna try to keep this as true as I possibly can. So in person, and I know that there are people ask me, you know, are there apps that you can use to measure centering and whatever? I have been inundated with different apps, people trying to reach out to me saying, hey, you should use this app and whatever. I'm not saying any of them are bad. There are just so many of them that you kind of just look up in the App Store, kind of choose what you want. But this is more of, let's assume that this is in person, right? So you have your own card in your own hands, and this is kind of a really quick and dirty way to kind of explain how to measure centering. So the first spot is, I'm just going to reference these hash marks because, you know, it could be inches, millimeters, whatever. I just want to get the point across. So we're going to measure the top first. So we're going to start right from here, work our way down. So this is how we start by measuring centering. So we're going to count these hash marks from the top to the bottom here of this green line. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 on the top. And as we scroll down, and again, pictures make this a little bit harder. So I always require and always encourage rather, if you have these cards being reviewed, always do this in person, because the angle of this card, if we kind of look at it, it's a little bit angled, kind of in a downward direction. So the measurements might be a tad off. So just kind of keep that in mind. So when we go to the bottom, so it's 1, 2, 3, probably like just shy of 3, but just for argument's sake, it's probably around, it's going to be closer to 3. So we have 3 tick marks on the bottom and 4 on the top. So in total, we have 7. And so that's how I do my 7s with a little dash. Guppy, what's going on? Welcome back, my friend. And so we add 4 plus 3, and for those who need it, it is 7. Right? So we had, now that we have the total, so we just divide one of those numbers by the total, so 4 divided by 7, we roughly have 50.57. So why I'm saying 0.57 and why this is important is because this is going to be the ratio. So this is going to be 57, right? And so you do 100 minus 57, and the remaining is 43. So the average, or the ratio rather, is going to be, for this Garchomp, is going to be 57.43. So this right here is going to make this card, the absolute highest it can go is going to be a PSA 9, because it is no longer eligible on paper to be received as a PSA 10 just because of the centering alone. So that's how important. Like I think Jose mentioned kind of the 55-45. That's a really good observation by Jose. And just from the centering alone, even the back could probably be immaculate. This card on paper should not get a 10 because of it being outside of that 55-45 ratio. And so when you do submit your cards, when you do pull these, and there's also a lot more kind of going on in the back as well. You have some whitening here, possible whitening up here on the top. A little bit. This probably looks more of like a pack fold, but this is pretty significant. So I'd probably say, honestly, with the amount of whitening we have on the top right here, bottom right side, this honestly, and I don't even know if this is a fold or not. This honestly could range anywhere from a 7 to an 8. Probably more, hopefully an 8 in your sake, but to me, my gut says that this is a 7 because this looks like a small fold. This is pretty noticeable in that whitening. There's some whitening there on the top, and possibly, I don't know if this is lighting or not, but I would say 7 is probably, if those aren't true, then more an 8, but I think it's a 7, in my honest opinion, for this Garchomp. Very unfortunate, but that kind of goes to show, too, guys, that just because a card is fresh out of a pack, especially out of Destined Rivals, you know, there are instances where you have no control in this centering. If there's nothing else wrong with it, the centering alone would prevent you from getting that 10. What website are you using? So I am just using Chrome. That's literally all I'm using. So I'm looking up, so community members submit their cards in our Discord. I pull them up as a web page in Chrome, and then I have a little kind of a magnifier tool extension. It's called Magnifying Glass Hover Zoom. So that's all I'm doing. Did not realize how much centering mattered in grading. Sent 4 cards out, 1 8, 2 9s, and 1 10. Well, that's awesome, Blue. Congratulations. Yeah, it's you know, I'm really happy for the community to have the accessibility of grading that didn't exist before, like for PSA or PSA and GameStop. But it also does kind of warrant that people also kind of need to know, you know, if they want 10s, just kind of going through what I'm kind of talking about during tonight's stream is just good just to kind of do for yourself, just so you're not wasting money at the end of the day. Trust, bro. I got you, Jose. So you're the man that I need to give the $100 bill to get my 10s. Yeah, I agree, Frazzle. That the Cynthia's Garchomp, that's definitely a good binder copy for sure. If you're just gonna keep it for a binder. Any Slowkings? I don't think we're reviewing any Slowkings tonight. Okay, so next up we have the Gardevoir EX first edition. They're still doing first edition stamps during this time, back in 2015. So let's take a look. So centering on this looks to be okay. Nothing to worry about there. Corner looks good. That corner looks good. Bottom left looks good. Bottom right looks great. Yeah, once I'm done with this, let's see. Once I'm done with the Gardevoir, I'll let you know how to submit your card. So just prepare. I'll go through my little spiel here once I'm done with this Gardevoir. So centering looks good. The corners look good. Surface looks fine. So far, so good. There is some texture, so we know it's real. Centering on this looks good. Let's just check the corners. Top right corner looks good. Top left. This left edge looks fine. Bottom left corner looks good. I don't see any whitening so far. Bottom edge looks fantastic. Bottom corner. And that right edge looks great. XY cards picking up in the market now. I would say a little bit, yeah. More so because there's more eyeballs on the Megas, as well as the Pokemon ZA coming out. So I would say I'm not really seeing anything wrong with the surface. I'm not seeing anything wrong with the corners or edges. I think this legitimately has a good 10 contention for sure. I think this is a good one to submit, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, I think a lot of people are looking at XY because of the new game coming out. The upcoming set after Black and White is going to be showcasing some Megas in addition to the Megazard having its own kind of UPC. So a lot of eyeballs are just on XY at the moment. Yeah, so Dylan and Mason, and others who are wondering how to submit your cards, let me go over that real quick. So if you're watching me on Twitch, which I am multi-streaming tonight, so if you want a different viewing experience, you can kind of see some other behind-the-scenes stuff as well. So if you're watching me on Twitch, my Linktree link is in the description. If you're watching me on TikTok, my link is in my bio. So once you are here, you're going to click or tap the Discord icon. Next, once you are in the Discord, you're going to go to the grade review channel. And so the grade review channel is where you can submit your cards for a grade review. I do this every Wednesday at around 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, absolutely for free. So you can submit as many cards as you want. However, there are a few things. So first, just make sure to read the pinned messages on how to properly submit your card. So for example, this Gardevoir EX is not in a sleeve or a top loader. The background is nice and dark, so I can see if there's any whitening. So stuff like that. You want to make sure that I can review your card the best that I can to give you the best score that I can. In addition, there is a limit of 5 cards per person per stream. So for example, if you submit 20 and it's up and you're up, I'm going to only review the first 5. That way someone doesn't kind of dominate the stream. And last but most important, since this is a free service, it is a first come, first serve. So there are times where you might kind of have to wait a few weeks to get reviewed, because I do this again every Wednesday. However, if you want your cards reviewed faster, meaning if you want priority along with some other cool benefits, the Discord server does offer a subscription starting at $4.99 and up, which gives you priority grade review each week. So for example, Frazzle and some others are Discord subscribers, so each week they get priority over non-subscribers. So that is how you do it, my friend. Hey Alberto, how's it going? Radish, thank you for the follow. Almost forgot, it is Wednesday, my dude. And if you guys are enjoying yourselves as well, I always do appreciate you guys liking or sharing the live, helping me with the algorithm lords. So any of that really does mean a lot to me. Mason, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that very much. And let's move on. I love, for me personally, with the Evolving Skies stuff, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I really think that the Evolving Skies evolutions look way better than the Prismatic Evolution evolutions. Just saying, might catch a fist here, but that is it's my opinion. Would a TikTok give? No, because I have the queue. I predetermine the queue before stream, Mason, and so I get everyone's cards kind of assessed in a queue. You'll see it in the which I actually don't have the thread, but that's okay. That's why I don't kind of do like on-demand bumps like that. No, Alberto, you haven't. I'm still on Frazzle. So the Sylveon. Let's see. So the only thing that I'm worried about is that top part. So let's take a look at that real quick. The top part looks a little bit thick. Not in the good CC way. So let's see if the Sylveon is a little bit too thick. And it's funny too, Jose, because I've been seeing a lot of... It's kind of funny. A lot of the, like, lesser... I shouldn't say lesser. The other evolutions that aren't Umbreon as PSA 10s have actually kind of dipped in value a little bit, which, in my opinion, is a good thing if you want to try to pick those up, because I don't see why they wouldn't go back up in the near future. 1, 2, 3, 4 on the top, as well as as well as all the other Vs too that are not evolutions, like the Rayquaza V, the Dragonite V. I was actually looking at the Dragonite V, and it's 10-to-9 ratio. It's actually pretty like split, so it's not like they're just handing out 10s for Dragonite V. It's kind of like 50-50, to be honest. So the bottom is 1, 2, what's that? 1, 2, 3.5 or so. So 3.5 on the top, or on the bottom rather. So what is that? So 4 divided by 7.5. So roughly 53. So roughly 53.47. So technically you're within that range. So that's good, Frazzle. Let's see, what else? Corner, that corner looks good. Top left looks good. Bottom left, bottom right looks good. Could you grade my Team Rockets Mewtwo? Yeah, for sure. I mean, I won't be able to during tonight's stream because the queue is closed, but definitely submit your picture in the Discord. Link is in the bio. It's going to be in the grade review channel. Right now, these are subs, Alan, but once the subs are done, I move on to non-subs. The front looks really good. Left heavy. You know, we can take a quick look actually, Jose, since you work for PSA. For those of you who are just coming, that's a joke. So let's see. So left is 1, 2, 3, 4 on the left. And then again, this is very, very kind of crude in terms of measurements on this, guys. So if you actually have cards in person, I actually use a transparent millimeter ruler for my own cards, to be quite honest with you. 1, 2, 3.5. So it's roughly kind of the same thing. So like 3.5 on the right and the bottom, and then 4 on the left and the top. So on paper we should be good. So let's look at here. So, and again, this white kind of glow on the top, that's more from the lighting of the picture, specifically. So we should be good there. I don't see any whitening on that top right or top left. Left edge looks good. Left corner looks good. Bottom edge. Right corner looks good. So again, I think you have... I'm not really seeing anything wrong with the surface. There's no like little fuzzies or anything stuck to the card. So on paper, again, I would just double check just to make sure that the top and the left compared to the bottom and the right respectively are within that 55-45. I mean, but what I saw on, on the internet or through my monitor, it should be good on paper. So this should be a pretty good 10 contender for you. So a really good card again on that Sylveon. Oh yeah, it's a super nice card. I'm grading community members cards Sky or Ski. Alright, so let's take a look at this Armored Mewtwo from Mewtwo Strikes Back as the promo. So let's take a look. Centering on this looks really clean, chat. I'm not going to lie. Looks super good. And the nice thing, Ski, if you're new here, this is completely free. So definitely submit your cards if you want to review in the future. And think just within the 10 boundaries to send in. Gotcha. Are you talking about the Sylveon, or are you talking about the Armored Mewtwo? Because the Armored Mewtwo looks good. I think you're talking about the Sylveon, would be my guess. These are other people's. Yep, these aren't mine. Yeah, and really the only thing that's paid is if you want priority and you just want to support me. You know, at the end of the day, I try to have this community be a place where I kind of give you guys my unbiased opinions and try to answer truthfully and transparently as I can for any questions. You know, like a one that's kind of rampant right now is how people are upset with current percentages of vendors. Like the really common one is 70-80. And I personally don't use 70-80 anymore. I think we're kind of outgrown that a little bit. I have my own personal opinions on that, but just yeah, just whatever you guys want to talk about, I'm more than happy to give my 2 cents. The front of this looks really good, to be quite honest with you. Centering looks good, corners look good, surface looks fine. Nothing that I'm overly concerned about. Let's see here. The back. Top right looks good. Top left looks good. That top edge. Again, this is just lighting, guys, if you guys are new here. From Frazzle, who we're reviewing right now. Left edge looks good. Bottom corner looks good. There might be something here, to be quite honest with you. So... My man, PSA Poppy. What's going on, brother? This man is making big boy moves in the world. What's going on, man? There might be a little bit of whitening there. That's like an atom's worth that I can see. But just check that in that bottom left-hand corner, just in case. Bottom right corner looking good. This left edge, or this right edge, rather, looking good. There is this, though, as we can kind of see in the little magnified area there. I don't know if that's something you can probably wipe off or clean off or anything like that. That's obviously going to have some impact on your surface score. But if you can get rid of that, or if it's already removed, then great. But I think this has a... If you can get that off, I think this has a really good 10 contender. The only thing that I can see, though, with that, and the other thing I just kind of stumbled upon is there might be something here, too. So let me do this, just so you guys aren't... I'm not confusing the hell out of you. This is kind of what I'm seeing in this section. So we have possibly, so we have something here for sure. So right here, we have a little bit of something. We have something possibly here and maybe here. But that is probably about it from what I could tell. So I think if you can kind of verify those 3 spots, I think you're chilling. Abstract, thank you for the follow. Poppy, did you, I don't know if I've asked you or told you this, did you see that PSA and eBay are now allowing you to, if you buy a raw card on eBay assessed at $250 or higher, you can send it directly to PSA for grading. Yeah, I'm not too sure how to feel about that. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be extremely upset if they don't really know what they're trying to look for. Because I was actually kind of looking through eBay listings today of like, oh, you know what, I'm just going to check on near mint or better category, and most of them were like light play. It was awful. Because I was looking at the silver Dialga EX just for funsies. And a lot of those cards that were listed as near mint or better had some pretty significant bends increases. It was nuts. But if it's over 250, you can submit it to PSA soon. So, I don't know. All right. Next up is the Mimikyu promo from 2018. So, let's take a look at this bad boy. Centering looks good. The top does look a little thick. So, let me just kind of do a quick measure here. Again, the only reason why I kind of... So some of you might see that I only limit to... I only review 20 cards per stream. Is I really like to try to give you guys as much of an in-depth review as I can. Because I don't want to be like, oh, I think this is going to get an 8 next. I think this is going to get a 9 next without any context. My big thing is trying to educate the community as much as I can. So that's why even something as small as trying to like line this up and try to be as transparent as I can, I really want to make sure that I'm doing my due diligence here so that you guys know exactly what to look for when you're doing the same thing. Jimmy, thank you for the follow. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like 4 point, like let's say 4.6. That's like super, super rough, but because I also have to kind of weirdly kind of change the angle here. And that blue hue is from the camera. So we're going from like here to here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 on that. So it's like 4 point, so what's that? So 8.6. So we'll do 4 divided by 8.6. So 46.54. Hydra, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. My Discord's in my Linktree bio. Austin. So that is a good sign. So we're at 54.46, so that's good. So the rest of the card looks good. Corners look good. Surface looks great. Nothing wrong there. Now, let's see if you guys are paying attention. So what do you guys see as a potential issue with this card? Let's see who's paying attention here. And why you guys are weighing in on why I think this card probably won't get a 10. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight. And if you guys are new here, welcome. Look at you guys. Bottom right, perfect. Yep. So that is exactly what I am seeing as well. So that bottom right corner is pretty cooked. We also have a little bit here on the bottom left. So we have, so I'll actually do this just to make it a little bit easier. So here's kind of the things that I'm seeing currently with this card. So we have some pretty notable whitening here on the bottom right. We have a little bit here and a little bit here. So if we kind of zoom in just a tad, so you kind of see that little bit of whitening there on that bottom right side. We have a little bit possibly in that bottom left. And then as we kind of go up, we have possibly a little bit on that top left as well. So probably with the like how extensive this is, this bottom right side. And I think you also said something about this one that I think is still worth kind of talking about. Because you stated in your comment, you said the Mimikyu in the bottom back corner is missing ink. Can just see the foil. So this, from what Frazzle is saying, is foil. But I'd say regardless, even though that's missing, that probably won't 10, in my honest opinion. Just because of, even though that's missing and it's kind of like a factory issue, it would not 10, in my opinion. Hey man, not questioning that you are doing something wrong, but why not use an app for centering? I would say the main reason, Noro, I think it's a good question, is from a streaming perspective. I think you guys visibly seeing kind of like a ruler and whatnot kind of helps visualize what I'm talking about. Because at the end of the day, some of these pictures and some of the things that you might see, especially if you're trying to raw hunt on eBay where time is a hot commodity, sometimes you kind of need some like quick tools and quick observations to kind of measure centering. And it also kind of helps me, you know, if you're trying to eyeball something, especially in person at a show, it kind of helps with kind of seeing a line that I can trace and kind of like write arrows and stuff like that. So more from a streaming perspective. Additionally, I don't like to advertise certain AI tools that I personally don't use, and I really don't use any because I don't use like because I've just been doing this for so long that I don't really need an AI app, to be quite honest with you. But because the main reason why I say that is I typically don't go for like black labels or anything like that. Now, if I went through and for like black labels or anything like that, I'd probably be more picky on centering. But you know, you can kind of eyeball it a little bit, just to kind of give a gut sense. So Frazzle, thank you so much, my friend, for not only being a pilot sub, but for your submission. So really good card. I think you had a lot of 10 contenders. I think you had 3 10 contenders in there. I have to go back, but I think you had at least 3. Do you think trainer box sleeves are fine for cards? Noro, thank you for the follow. Do I think trainer box sleeves are fine for cards? I think that they are a bit tight, in my opinion, from like a collector perspective. I think they're fine for like playing. But I'm not too sure. I typically don't like them, only because I feel like they're really kind of tight sometimes, and I don't really kind of like the matte look. Especially as like a vendor, I want my cards to look really nice and clean and easy to take in and out if someone wants to look at condition. But I think they're fine in general. I love this Mew EX. The Mew EX from Radiant Collection is super dope. All right, so now we are on to my friend Frequent Flyer Mike. So Mike, thank you as always for being a sub, and let's get right into it. Let's look at your Mew EX here. Kevo, thank you for the follow. So you said, so let's give some context. So Mike says, Legendary Treasures Mew, the upper right side on the back is whitening, but that photo makes it look worse than it is. Bottom left side is not whitening. Okay, so we'll have to kind of keep that in mind here as we kind of go across. So we're looking at the upper right side on the back is whitening, but the photo makes it look worse, and the bottom left side is not whitening. And that's just light. So I'm assuming you're talking about that side as well as this side. So let's get into it then. So centering looks really good on the front. Not really worried about that. Top right corner, I'm not seeing any whitening because of the black background, which if you are going to take advantage of this grade review, having your cards against a black background really helps me kind of assess on whether or not there are white dots or specks or anything like that. So kudos to Mike as always. Chronicles of Odin, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Top right corner looks good. Top edge looks good. Top left corner looking good. And as we kind of go along the edge here, kind of going a little bit slow. Left side looks good. Bottom left corner looks good. What's going on, Austin? Bottom edge looks good. Bottom right corner looks good. Right edge looks good. Yeah, so the edges and corners look fantastic. And I'm not seeing any print lines or any scratches on the hollow, which is always good. I honestly have no idea what you're talking about, Austin, so probably no. I don't have a lot of bots because a lot of them get compromised and screw up servers, so I don't have a lot of bots. So scratches, there are none. So yeah, the front of this Mew so far looks good, man. And it's really just the back. So you're saying, so this is where you're kind of coming in. The upper right side of the back is whitened, but the photo makes it look worse than it is. So it's probably this right here. So I think from what you're saying, like it may have it look worse, but I think it's still worth noting, like kind of the extent of it. And so why I say that is, so if we kind of draw this up here real quick. So when I'm looking at this card, let me make sure my pen's actually working. So we're kind of looking like right in that section right here. So that is pretty lengthy. But if we kind of, I'm going to kind of draw up the whitening here first, and then we can kind of go over. So I see some here in the top right. We obviously see kind of some here as well, so in that section. Let's see. So we have some here as I'm kind of going down this left edge. So again, he was saying that this is lighting, not whitening. And so we have here, here, here. And then I think maybe here, but I'm not too sure, because that also might be lighting. And then right here. So, is that it, from what I can tell? I think that is. Yeah, so everything that you're kind of seeing on stream right now, bottom right is a dot on the white. Okay. So we have at least, so for dotted whitening, we have at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then for a good line, we have here on the top right side that you were talking about. So we kind of need to work in two kind of different directions. So first, I don't think this will get the 10 because of the whitening. I don't think it will get the 9. And we're kind of starting at a possible 8, but we have to keep on going. I don't think it's light play, just due to the fact that the front, from what we can tell, is in such good shape. So we're not in so when I say light play, we're kind of out of that 6 or lower. I don't think it would get a 6. I think 6 would be way too aggressive, unless there's a bend or a crease that we don't see. So let's just assume that we just don't see that. So really it kind of boils down to, and I think this is a really good example when people ask me, how hard does PSA kind of assess these little bits of whitening? And my answer to you would be that this is a really good example of the whitening that you're kind of seeing here. So we have at least 1, 2, 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points of whitening in addition to this one kind of more straight on. This, an example with the amount of whitening and that one, even though Mike is saying that it's not as bad as what it looks like on the picture, it still would probably warrant the 7, only because of the amount of whitening on the back. In addition to that one on the right side being kind of more of a lined type of whitening, meaning that it's solid from point A to point B. So in my opinion, I probably would say that this MuEX would probably get an 8, strictly due to the amount of whitening that we're showing on the back here. So that's kind of my general assessment. The bottom left, I think this might be from what you're talking about, Will. I mean, this might be a little bit of whitening from what you're talking about, but this here is lighting, confirmed by Mike, who submitted the card. How can I submit? Yeah, so let me just go over that real quick before I move on to the Ancient Mew. So if you guys want to have your cards assessed at a future grade review, this is how you do it. So let's pay attention. So if you're watching me on Twitch, which I am multi-streaming, if you want a different experience, the link is going to be in the description. If you're watching me on TikTok, the link is in the bio. Once you click that, you're going to go to my link tree. Here, you're going to click or tap the Discord icon to get directed to my Discord server. Next, once you're in the Discord server, you're going to submit your cards in the grade review channel. And this service is absolutely free and forever always will be. However, there are a few things. So first, like what we're seeing with Mike, just make sure to take your pictures outside of a sleeve or a top loader and have a good background and have the picture be clear. Because if any of those aren't true, I won't be able to review it because it just makes it harder for me to review and give you an accurate grade. In addition, you can submit as many as you want. However, it is limited to 5 cards per person per stream. And also, it is first come, first serve. So you might have to wait a little bit, maybe a week or 2 or even more, depending on how many are submitted. So if you cannot wait, the Discord does offer priority grade review, meaning that you kind of get first in line each week when we do these. We stream every Wednesday starting at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you want priority grade review along with some other cool perks like giveaways and such, the Discord server does offer subscriptions starting at $4.99 and up. So if you want to support me and get some priority grade review, that is how you do it. Mason, thank you for sharing the live. Jorgito, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. If you guys are enjoying yourselves, I definitely appreciate all the likes and shares. Really does mean a lot. Your link is sending me to another server. Well, I'm not sure what link you're clicking, but it should send you to the Galaxia Gaming Outpost. If it doesn't send you anywhere else, you are in the wrong spot. Mia, thank you for sharing the live. Appreciate you. All right. So, the first thing that I always like to do with Muse specifically because this is also something that if you guys don't know about this very rare and expensive error for this Ancient Mew, we always want to look at the bottom. And why is that? So we want to see how they spelled Nintendo. So this is Nintendo. So this is not the error. So the error that you want to be looking for if you're ever looking at an Ancient Mew, it's just good to do so, is the Japanese printing actually misspelled Nintendo and spelled it as Nintedo. So missing that N. So it's always good to kind of take a look at that spelling. So food for thought. That's a very expensive error of this Ancient Mew. So this Ancient Mew also, since the entire card, both the front and the back, is holographic, it is pretty tough to grade because of possible print lines. So we are going to have to be a little bit more cautious when we're reviewing this card. So let's take a look. So first, the centering looks pretty good. Top, bottom, left, right look great. So top right corner looks good. Top left corner looks good. Let's see. And then as I'm kind of like guiding here, Mike actually added a comment for this Ancient Mew that I think we need to keep track of. So Mike says, the Ancient Mew is super clean. It has the most minor of scratches I can't get to show. I can only find one on the front and one on the back. Otherwise, the rest should be fairly straightforward. Okay. So we'll try to look for that as much as we can. But obviously, scratches does impact the possible grade. So okay, take a look. New, got some good, nice centering. Oh, it definitely does. Kurt's saying off center, left, right. Maybe. I personally don't think so, but if enough people say yes, then we can certainly measure it for sure. Bottom left corner looks good. Bottom edge looks good. It may also be that due to the angle of the picture too, Kurt, that the left side's a little bit closer. Because you also have to look, we also have to consider, and this is good if you guys are ever trying to look for possible grading plays on eBay. You have to take note of kind of the angle of lighting as well as the angle of the picture, stuff like that. Always something to kind of keep in mind. So yeah, other than that, I'm not really seeing any scratches on the holo. I'm really trying to look for any scratches for the bit of lighting that we have here. It is not, J-Man, but that's a really good question. We just actually looked at that in the beginning. It's the non-error. Yeah, exactly, Kurt. Do slight bends in cards affect value because it's in the plastic thing once graded? So I mean, that's slight bends. I'm assuming you're talking about like if you left a card out and it got humid. If it's, you know, if it's very, very slight, it shouldn't. But if it's like half piped, then it definitely will. A good kind of rule of thumb is, you know, if you think that your card overall, you know, may have been kind of humid if you're in a humid environment or something like that, it's kind of like just generally kind of curling due to the humidity. You just put it in between we'll put it in a penny sleeve first and then put it in a heavy book or something. And leave that in for a few days. Okay, so here is another angle of the other angle of the Mew here. The queue is closed for tonight, Austin. But the grade review channel, I post in the grade review channel on who's up, so you can follow that pretty easily. Let's see. So the surface, yeah, that scratch that you're talking about, Mike, I'm really trying to find it from the holo, and like what you said, if it's like super minor that it's really hard to tell. I mean, maybe here, like right where right above where my mouse is, like those two, but that's such a stretch. That is an absolute stretch. And maybe underneath the colorless energy, there might be one kind of right above my mouse. You guys, there's no shot you'll be able to see it. But there's probably one right here underneath the colorless energy. But again, I'm really trying to find anything that could even remotely be a scratch. But those are the only things, and I doubt it's even anything. Let's see. Let's take a look on the back. So the back is also very notorious, especially like near the energy. Are these faked a lot? I don't really think so, J-Man, because these cards were mass produced because they were movie promos, so they're not like real. Like people think that they're like super expensive, ungraded, but they're just not. They were movie promos. They were printed into the ground. So I mean, I'm sure there are fakes, but it's super uncommon. So top right, yeah. So centering on this still looks good. I'm not seeing, because normally where I like to look are actually the energy symbols, because that's normally where you can kind of really pick up on any print lines or anything like that. And I'm really not seeing any, to be quite honest with you. So I think legitimately, I can't see those scratches. Obviously, we have like a little bit of kind of bias, right? Because we only have really 2 pictures that we can really discern from. And you kind of have to kind of take it a little bit with a grain of salt that, you know, you obviously are going to have a lot better chance of you seeing a scratch in person holding the card than we are. And maybe this is the scratch now that I'm kind of seeing it zoomed out right here. Here before I miss it. Nope, that wasn't it. Before I miss it again. So maybe this here, but that's the only thing that I could think of, and because the other one I thought was here, but that might be stretching it. But that one might be, this one might be the only thing that I could think of is right in this section. But I don't know. But I would say, you know, I think it's a pretty good card to send in regardless, in my opinion. I don't see any major, like the major print lines that you normally see on these cards isn't present from what I can tell. So, you know, if those scratches really do pop up, and I honestly just can't see them just due to the pictures you sent, it has a pretty good shot at a 10. But if it gets a 9 because of it, again, I don't know the severity of them, and obviously it sounds like we both can't see it, and you have it in your hand. So if it were me, I would just submit it, to be quite honest with you. I think it'd be a good submission. Kind of see one on fighting. Let's take a look. I'm glad I caught that before. Let's see. Let's like really zoom in here. We're gonna see if sheep deprived. I'm not seeing it. The only thing, like if I really had to be on your side, there might be something here. But I don't think so. But who knows? I mean, that's probably what you're seeing would be my guess. Is this right here? But maybe that might be good for Mike to look at. We are on the Sylveon from the Chinese collection. You're a wizard, Harry. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate that. Where is this card getting graded? I'm assuming it would be PSA. These aren't my cards, but because I'm reviewing them for community members. But Washington, Gavin, thanks for the follow, guys. Appreciate that very much. All right, so this is actually a good example. Someone was asking before if, like, you know, cards like that are slightly bent will be kind of taken. Something like this is kind of a good example. I would just kind of put it in a heavy book, but it's kind of on that edge where it's not that bad to where they probably won't. But it's always just good practice, too, in my honest opinion. But let's take a look at this Sylveon from, what is it, the Chinese? I can't remember the set because it just came out, but centering looks good. Corners look fine. Let's see. I'm looking for print lines right now. I don't see any, which is good. So normally you want to look at the lighted areas. So I don't see any print lines here. So far, so good. on that bad boy. Now for the back. So centering looks okay on the back. Would you even be able to see print lines through pics? Yeah, sometimes, J-Man. Sometimes depending on how the pictures are taken at what angle. So it's really the more you can kind of take at different angles and different lighting, the better that I can be. Alec, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Top right corner. So this is a good example, guys. So this is something... So right here. So if I just take a quick snip of this, just so you guys can kind of see here. So stuff like this, like these little bits of like whitening. And let's just make it so that you guys can actually see what I'm circling. So here and here. So those little bits of whitening are more so the cardstock that is inside of a pack that kind of just more often than not just gets stuck to the surface of the card. So you want to make sure that before you submit these cards into PSA or any grading company, just take like a microfiber cloth and just wipe those off. Because you don't want them to deduct any points from your surface score if left untreated. So just kind of food for thought. Always kind of take a look at that, even if the card is fresh out of a pack. Sometimes that stuff just gets stuck to the card. Left side, again, those little white spots that I think you can just wipe off. So I'm not really too worried about that. The only thing that I see here that I find to be interesting is right here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it almost looks like, I don't know if it's like a thumbprint or some weird texture thing going on. Which is like right in this section. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but right inside of there. So we have like what appears to be some kind of like 45-degree straight lines kind of going across. So to me, that looks like more like a thumbprint. And so again, this is another thing that's really important too. That if you do submit these cards, sometimes, you know, sometimes we have stuff stuck on our fingers or the oils from our fingers. So if that's left untreated, then that might have an impact on the surface as well. So again, that might be something, Mike, you've definitely heard me say this numerous times, so you definitely know by now. But I would just wipe that off, maybe add a little bit of, you know, very small amount of distilled water, take like a microfiber cloth or something like that and just wipe that off. Let's see. So I would say if you wipe those off, if you can kind of treat this, the centering and the corners look great both on the front and the back. Those are really the only two things that I would address, is that thumbprint, that possible thumbprint, and just a little bit of white specks kind of stuck on the card. But you've been in enough of these to know what you need to do, I think. How often do I do this? I do this every Wednesday, William. I have a Team Rocket Mewtwo that I think I'm grading, but I've never done it before. Please help. Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're going to be hearing a lot of techniques and everything that I'm going to be going over throughout the stream, so definitely kind of just sit back and watch me kind of review a few cards. But if you join the Discord, which is link in bio, you can submit in the grade review channel once you're in the Discord. Big A, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Has no one made a dye to clear the whitening on edges? So that would definitely be considered tampering, for sure. I'm sure they have, and I think there have been people who have been circulating some products to do so. I don't want to like highlight what exactly it is. You can definitely look it up. But it is for sure, without a doubt, tampering or alteration, for sure. I had a Zard that got a 9. I didn't see nothing but a bit of staining on the rear. I mean, that if you saw it, then that means that they probably saw it. I've seen PSA return a lot of people's cards as miscuts, which I find very interesting. Even if they've been packed fresh, most of them have been coming, like, not most of them, but there has been a larger amount of cards coming back as do not grade or do not holder, and being deemed as miscuts. So I don't know if it's just that they're getting better at, or like getting worse at detecting like errors that are constituted as miscuts. Maybe there's an increase of people trying to trim cards. It's really crazy. I don't know. Okay. So Ditto as a Lapras. So let's take a look. Centering looks great. Corners look good. Surface looks fine. I'm not seeing anything crazy on the foil. I don't see any print lines from what I can tell. So far, so good. And this one, I don't think would 10. And let's see if we can see why. And so, before I kind of give my reasoning on why I don't think this would 10, does anyone want to guess on why this might not get a 10? And again, I know there's a few people who are new here. I think this is a really important lesson when most people ask me, you know, I have a little bit of whitening, but will it still get a 10? Yes, exactly. A lot of people are seeing this little white dot here right on the left side, right there. We also have some right here too. Let's see. I'm breaking your heart, Mike. You better be ready for it. I'm not like a professional grader. So basically everything that I talk about is just from my personal experiences as a vendor. So I've been doing this since 2017. I've been vending for like officially at shows since like 2023. So all the things that I've kind of picked up over the years, I'm basically consolidating and kind of going over cards that you guys submit. That dot on the left was dust. It's gone. Okay. I also do see some whitening, possible whitening here. That maybe here. But the centering is good. It's just, and then like obviously this you can just queen off. Not sure. I feel like you need to like color code these. I'm not too sure about that right here. I'm not too sure if that's a little bit of whitening, but yeah, I probably, if there is like that, you know, because you're saying the dot on the left was dust, because there are at least 3 dots on the left. So if at least there are 2, your odds of it getting a 10 are pretty slim. I have heard people say that there have been, you know, very, very mild whitening, like at least 2 points that still get 10s, but I'm not really in that boat of like suggesting that you would. So I'd probably just look again, but those on that left side, so I see at least 4 possibly. So if you want to kind of just take a screenshot of this, I'll let this up. But that's kind of what I'm seeing currently is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's pretty much what I'm seeing. These look like little lizard people. So that's probably, but that's my guess, is that it probably wouldn't 10 because of those. Are you the guy that slabs them? No, I don't actually slab anything. I just help you guys kind of review and take a look at, you know, things to consider when you're submitting cards. Just because a card is open fresh from a pack does not guarantee a 10. And I think with the accessibility of GameStop grading, I think it's important now more than ever to really kind of critique your own cards and make sure that you're submitting quality to not burn money, essentially. All right, so Charizard and Braixen. Tag team. Tag teams are very popular at the moment. So let's take a look. Centering looks to be good, but I think this is a Zard, so we always want to be as careful as possible with making such assumptions. So let's take a look here. And again, there's apps, and everyone has their own way of measuring, but this is just kind of a really crude way of kind of showing my point here. When people talk about how to measure centering, this is really how you do it. So we're going to do, and I'm just going to call these hash marks here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we'll call it. So 5 on that left side. And then I got to find a spot. Of course, I picked a really bad spot here. So we'll do right about, that should be good. So like from here to here, so we have about 1, 2, 3, 4 on that side. So 5 on the left, 4 on the right, based off of kind of the quick that we're seeing. So 5 divided by 9, because we add both, and we're at 55. So we're at 0.555. So if they, you know, if they round it up, so if they do like 56, then that would not, your ceiling would be a PSA 9. Now, if they keep it or, you know, don't round or whatever, then on paper, you should be at the absolute maximum allowance for it to be considered a 10. on that one. Hannah, once I'm done with this Zard, I'd be more than happy to go over it with you. Just give me 1 second, if you do not mind. I think the top and the bottom look fine. It's just that left edge is a little wonk. But the corners look good. Top right looks good. Top left looks good. Again, some more fuzzies that we can just remove. Just kind of keep that in mind. But aside from that, I mean, it's kind of hard to always look at textured cards doing this. But looking good. That front looks really good. The back, again, these little fuzzies, man. I don't know. You're like addicted to these things. There's some just stuck here on that left side. Maybe one on that top right. But aside from that, I legitimately think this card is pretty clean. Actually, now that I say that, maybe some scratches here, but that might be about it. I don't know if that is a scratch on this side. And let me just kind of take a snipping tool. So let's see. So it'd be right in this section, like right there. So kind of zoom out. It's right around in this section here is where I'm looking, Mike. So that's honestly the only thing I see, because everything else that can be wiped off where the tip of my mouse is. I think that can be wiped off just fine. And the rest of the card looks really well centered. The corners look good. So I think you have a good shot. Based off of what I see, the centering looks good. I think you're within that range. So I think you're chilling. For this Zard and Braixen. I think that chilling meaning that I think you have a shot at a 10. As long as that back part where I just kind of highlighted is not indeed a scratch or anything weird. But that was the only thing that I really, really saw if I had to really, really nitpick. So, all right. So, as always, Mike, thank you so much for being a sub, my man. Always means a lot. And let's keep on keeping on. So, we have first submission, Little Nervous. Well, I'm hoping that we ease some of these nerves for our friend here with the Giovanni's Mewtwo here and the Cynthia's Garchomp. So let's take a look. But before, let's see. About to ship a Lugia Altar, and the top loader is a little dusty. All right, Sebastian. OG Dirk, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Well, if you're trying to submit a picture in grade review of a card in a top loader, I won't be able to review it, Sebastian, if that's what you're talking about. Yeah, so if you guys are wondering, because I know Hannah was waiting patiently for me to go over this. If you guys are wondering how to submit your cards, again, this is an absolutely free service. It always will be. So if you guys are wondering how to submit your cards for a free grade review in the future, because the queue is closed for tonight, this is how you do it. So if you're watching me on Twitch, which I'm also multi-streaming to, the link should be in the description. If you're watching me on TikTok, the link is in the bio. Once you are there, you're going to click or tap the Discord icon. You're then going to be redirected to the Discord where you're going to post your pictures in the grade review channel. So once you're in there, just make sure to read the pinned messages on how to properly submit your pictures for a review. So for example, I can't review cards that are in a top loader, penny sleeve, or a slab, like a graded slab, because it just makes it too hard for me to review. Again, it's absolutely free, but I can only review 5 cards per person per stream, and it is first come, first serve. So just kind of keep that in mind. However, if you want your cards assessed as soon as possible, and you want priority along with some other cool perks, the Discord server does offer a subscription starting at $4.99 and higher. The higher the subscriptions, the more benefits you get. So for example, Mike, we just reviewed, he had priority grade review this week, and it always will be while he's subbed. So I stream every Wednesday from 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern onward for grade review, so this happens once a week. So just keep that in mind. And that's how you do it. OD, thank you for sharing the live. Appreciate you. NG, what's going on, man? These are mine. Never graded before, so I'm debating. All right, Alan. Andy, thank you for the follow. Fudge, thank you for the follow. And I appreciate all the new people in here. Welcome, welcome, guys. At the end of the day, I'm trying to do this stuff more just to kind of educate the community. There's a lot of misinformation and a lot of like polarizing topics and people trying to drag you guys in like all sorts of directions. And at the end of the day, I like to kind of provide trust through transparency. So everything that you guys see me do at vendor shows or anything like that in my vendor videos, I try to be as transparent with my entire process as possible, which includes grading. So that's I'm here for you guys. So if you guys have any questions about anything else, whether it's grading, how to price cards, like my opinions on being a vendor versus being a buyer, stuff like that, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions. So I definitely appreciate you guys trusting me in that. And let's get into Alan. I know he's probably shaking in his boots. So let's review this Mewtwo. Okay, so as always with Modern, especially for Japanese, it tends to be more of an issue of centering and less of corners. Because for Modern in general, it's normally just corners and centering are the big two culprits of these cards not getting a 10. So let's take a look. So the centering on this, on the front of this Mewtwo, is actually really good from what I can tell. But just to be safe, and again, I would definitely do this in person, but the bottom may be the issue, but again, it might be still within that 55-45, but we'll kind of do our due diligence here. So let's kind of flip this ruler here. Again, everyone has different ways of measuring centering. There's a lot of apps out there that you can probably use, but the reason why I kind of use this snipping tool kind of ruler is that sometimes you don't have access to quick apps, so this is kind of a way that I can show you kind of how to eyeball certain things. So we're just going to draw. So this is where you kind of measure that centering with that silver border. So now we're just going to kind of count the tick marks. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the bottom. And we're going to scroll up. And again, you kind of see me. I have to kind of orient this ruler as best I can to kind of give like a true lineup as I can. So we're going to go from here to here. So then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, like slightly over 4. So it might be even like a, I don't know, 4.1, I guess. 4 or 4.1. We'll just say 4. Just for simplicity, because I know this math, so because I've done the 9 before. So if we added the bottom, so if we did 5 on the bottom plus 4 on the top, we have 9. So if we divide one of the sides by the sum, you have 0.55. So in this example, if the grader doesn't round up for whatever reason, let's just say that they don't for argument's sake, you'd be right at the absolute maximum for centering, which would be 55-45. So on paper, if they do not round up and like what I just kind of measured is true, and honestly, I'm kind of being more conservative. If that is actually 4.1, this would not be the case. It actually benefit you. Then you're on paper technically still in contention for a PSA 10 if we're just considering centering at the point. But now if we flip it over, let's take a look here at the back. So I think centering on the back is good as well. I think, and another thing, guys, that we have to also keep in mind, especially when we're looking at cards online, and if you're kind of doing the same thing, like if you guys are on eBay or any online or even Facebook Marketplace, and you guys are trying to look for raw cards to have like a grading play, always consider and always keep in mind the direction of the light source, because the light will help you tremendously kind of see issues. So for example, if there was like, you know, this is very, very bright, but then all of a sudden it's like dark right here, that would be a good indicator that there might be a fold or a bend or a crease that's causing a shadow. So it's always good to kind of consider where the light is coming from. So another reason why I'm kind of saying that is that this top part looks to me like lighting and not whitening, just due to the angle of the light source and all that stuff. But I would also just say that just double check to make sure that this isn't what I was just talking about, any folds or anything like that. I don't think it is, so I'm not really going to put more weight into it, but it's one of those things, just double check that there's no folds there. But the top right corner looks good, top left looks good. This left edge looks great. Bottom corner looks good, bottom edge looks good, bottom right corner looks good, and the right edge to a degree looks good. I mean, we just can't see where this is in the illuminated section, but aside from that, I think this is a really strong card to grade, in my honest opinion. I think I think if it were me, and if you're trying to go for that, I would just double check the centering and just kind of eyeball it in person of that bottom to top. But based off of what I saw and based on the measurements and the centering, this looks like a possible 10 contender for sure. I have a Mega Rayquaza EX I should have you look at. Well, I'd love to look at it, Andy. My card is a horizontal dotted black line. Will it affect grading? Depending on what it looks like, but I would probably say passing to give you like a quick, like if you want an answer now, I would say yes, it would. Frank, K-Town, the Bearded Aussie, thank you guys so much for the follow. Appreciate that. Morokoro, thank you for the follow. Will a black dot affect the score? It most likely would, yes. Like a ink dot. I've seen ink dots impact the surface score of some cards. It won't like dramatically decrease it because it's like an ink blemish. But I have seen cards not get 10s from it. Keith, thank you for the follow. What program are we using for the magnification? All I'm using, since I'm doing all this in Chrome, it's just a Chrome extension called Magnifying Glass Hover Zoom. That's all it's called. So again, that Chrome extension is called Magnifying Glass Hover Zoom. Is all I use. Alright, so next up is the Cynthia's Garchomp. So we will do the same thing. So that bottom looks a little bit thick, but let's kind of do like a quick, again, quick measurement, never hurts. So let's take a look. I always love the texturing of the Japanese cards. Looks so good. You're welcome. Let's see. So we line that on the bottom. So we go from about here to here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 on the bottom. I think we should be good then. Saba, thank you for sharing the live. Appreciate that. And then on the top, go from here to here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so you're good. I think it's just the angle of the picture that you took. I don't know why to me it kind of looked like a little bit thicker on the bottom, but it just might have been the angle. So yeah, beautiful card, man. The front looks good. There's no issues with the corners, so that looks good. Centering looks great on this. Top right corner looks good. Top edge looks good. Corner looks good. Yeah, so far, man. Bottom left corner looks good. Bottom edge looks good. Bottom right corner looks good. Just taking a quick peek at the back surface because the front is like a firework. Like you can't, there's really not much I can kind of tell with the surface, obviously, right? Because it's so crazy. But the surface itself looks to be in really good shape. So I think both your Garchomp and your Mewtwo have pretty strong contenders at getting a PSA 10. So congratulations, my friend. Hopefully they do. I mean, obviously, like that's not a guarantee, but based off of everything that I saw with the pictures you provided, they look like good 10 contenders for me. How far in the list am I going? So I post my queue. There, like every kind of section, I'll do like an episode 71 or so. Right now, for example, I just finished with Alan's. So now we are going into Rob. So Jay, thank you so much, or Alan, thank you so much for your submission. Appreciate that very much. And now we're going to the Gengar VMAX. What's going on, TK? A little curve on the card can reduce grade. If you're talking about like if there's like humidity, for example, it shouldn't. But I always encourage that you at least kind of put your card in like a penny sleeve and put it inside of a heavy book. That's kind of that's what I do personally if I find a little bit of a curve. But it shouldn't, unless it's like half piped. So, all right. So, Gengar, let us take a look. So, I also like to mention this as well. So, sometimes people ask me how to measure centering on a VMAX card because obviously, you know, there's no clear border on this left or right, and probably the easiest way is going to be in these little lighter sections here. So, it's going to be like here, and it's going to be here. So those are the best way. This card, fortunately, is very well centered, so I'm not going to take the ruler, but that's where you'd measure centering on a VMAX. Let me... Right there. So those are the two spots you kind of want to line up for centering on a VMAX. You're welcome, Aiden. And man, everyone's so polite here. Thank you, guys. Look at us. So polite and cordial. So yeah, corners look good. Top right, from what I can tell. I mean, it's a little bit blurry. So we really can't see like true whitening on the front. But I think you should be good. Top left looks good. Left edge looks fine. Bottom left corner looks good. Bottom edge looks good. Bottom right corner looks good. And I think this might just be like camera artifacting. There's like, it kind of looks like a little rigid or kind of like a little sharp on that right side, but I think it's because of the picture. At least I want to hope so. Or maybe not. That's so interesting. I don't know if you guys see what I'm seeing, but it kind of... I might be wrong about that. It kind of looks like it is something wrong with that right edge. So right here, where I thought was... It looked like bits of like artifacting or something like that. It also kind of carries over on that on the back side. So on the back, just to kind of show you guys what I'm talking about, is right here, which would be super unfortunate, is that right there. So it almost looks like silvering, like you'd see on like a vintage card. So I think if that's there, I truly don't think that would not get a 10. Because that would be kind of considered like what vintage calls silvering, which is extreme. Like I have not seen that on a modern card in a very hot minute. I'm kind of looking at the rest of the card. I mean, the rest of the card looks fine. It's just that silvering on that left edge. So something like that for silvering on a modern, honestly, that's a first for me in terms of like, because I know like the impact of silvering on a vintage card. Like if that's the only thing wrong with it, I've seen cards with like, you know, common silvering get like 9s and 8s, especially with like jungle era. But for a modern card with that amount of length, you know, you're probably, I don't think it'd be considered mint. I mean, maybe like from the grading perspective, near mint plus, so like an 8. But knowing that there's so little of this that happens with modern, maybe even a 7 depending on the severity of it, to be quite honest with you. Because that is pretty aggressive. I don't know if you guys agree or not, but I don't think it would get a 10 just based off of that silvering on that left side. And I don't think it would get a 9. Maybe like my comfort says 8, but I could see the argument for a 7. But I honestly haven't seen that. So probably like between an 8 or a 7, which is super unfortunate for a Gengar. Do I clean or fix cards? I do, but right now I am kind of taking a pause to learn some new techniques. However, if you want to get redirected to a master course that I partnered with another fellow streamer, on my link in my bio, there is the card cleaning master guide, partnered with Rocket Collect. If you want to check that out, that's kind of my temporary guide there. He was very kind enough to share an affiliate link with me. But yeah, I don't think this will get the 10, unfortunately. I honestly, just because of that silvering on that left edge, I think it'd probably get an 8. So yeah, always unfortunate, but all right, next up, Eric, patiently waiting. Let's take a look. Ooh, Houndoom. Houndoom First Edition from Expedition. The Expedition era. Let's take a look. Alright, so first off, what I see is that it's a little bit off center on the top. So there might be people wondering, you know, well, obviously the bottom is part of like the e-reader, so of course it's off center. But where I tend to look is right kind of like in the top to right side. So traditionally you don't do this with like a standard bordered card, but for a card like this, a really easy way to do that is by doing the top to the right. So it is a bit thicker on the top when compared to the right side. So that might kind of give us some issues for the subgrade of the centering. So probably like, I don't know, like a 9 to an 8 probably with that range. And now we are going to just mark this card up a little bit. So just to kind of show you guys what I'm looking at here. So, so for the dirt, I see something here. So there's a little bit of a dirt blotch there. So going around the edge here, so top left corner looks good. That left edge looks good. So we do have some whitening in the bottom left corner here, so we have some there. Looking at the bottom edge, we have a little bit of dirt here, right underneath the expedition symbol from what appears to be dirt. And the only thing that is going to be tricky, and I don't know if you guys see it, but again, as I was kind of talking about paying attention to the direction of the light source, is that this appears to be on this yellow edge, almost like a little valley, like a shadowed valley. I don't know if you guys can see that on stream. It might be a stretch, but that I don't know if that is a dent or just something that's not there. But that's a bit concerning to me, Eric, to be quite honest with you. But you might obviously be able to kind of speak on that part more so than me, because you actually physically have the card. But aside from that, I don't know if this is a scratch or not. And let me just do this so it's not as crazy. So right there, I don't know if that's a scratch. But aside from that, really good on the front. So yeah, so that is everything that I see so far. So everything's kind of circled in green, and actually, I mean, that's kind of, that might be, but I don't know. That's more of a question mark on this one. Tobias, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Do you grade cards through here? I have a shiny. Yeah, so I do grade reviews every Wednesday. So if you want to submit your card, which is going to be your Shining Zard, if you click the link in bio and join the Discord, just submit the card in the grade review channel. It's completely free, but it is first come, first serve. That's my quick pitch. Dad Life, thank you for the likes. Appreciate that. So that's probably what I see right now. Is we have two bits of whitening on the edge, on the corner, the top right and the bottom left corner. I see dirt above the HP and dirt underneath the expedition symbol. But the one that I really don't know is whether or not this is a crease or not. Because there is a little bit of a shadowing effect going on here. So we'll have to kind of keep that in mind. So for the back... Kate, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. So for the back, kind of do the same thing here. So centering on the back looks good, from what I can tell. We do have possible whitening here. Maybe there. That's more of a question mark, though. Left edge. Left edge looks good. And then bottom left corner, a little bit of whitening there. And bottom edge looks good. A little bit of whitening here. We also have whitening there. And then as we go up on the right side, before we take a look at the surface, that right edge, maybe something here. And maybe something here. TCG, thank you for sharing the live. Appreciate that. So now for the surface. So we do have some dirt here. Have some dirt here. And let's see. Any more dirt? Any more? Candy, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. I don't see anything noticeable. So as we kind of zoom out here so you guys can really kind of see what I'm looking at. So we have at least 1, 2, 3 points of kind of larger whitening on the corners with a little bit of one possibly in the top left. We have 2 bits of whitening on that right side. And in the middle on the surface, we have 2 points of kind of dirt or debris on the back. So let's kind of set the top here. So I don't think, based off of the amount of whitening that we saw both on the front of the Houndoom and the back of the Houndoom, I don't think it would get any better than an 8. So we kind of work our way backwards from there. So the whitening on the corners on the back are pretty significant to where we're kind of in that 7 range. The dirt, however, both on the front and the back, I think that can be just simply cleaned off with like a microfiber cloth and some distilled water. So I'm not really too concerned about that per se. So we'll kind of omit that. So the only thing that really is of a concern to me is really this front part. And I don't think you're in chat at the moment. But it's really just this. And I don't know if you guys can see it on stream. So you kind of have to kind of loosely take my word for it, I guess, but there's a little bit of like a valley in kind of this section right here. That's as best as I can kind of zoom in on it. To where if that is a dent to a degree, you know, dents obviously have a significant impact in the overall grade of a card. But I don't think it would be anything like a 4. Because the surface hollow itself looks really clean. You know, looking at the rest of the Houndoom on the front, right, it looks like a very, very clean card. There's not a lot of scratches. The only scratch that I saw was really kind of the base of the tail here, is what I can kind of see. But that is really the only thing that's questionable at best. So I'd probably say, you know, we're kind of like largely within like a 7 to a 5. But if that is a dent, I wouldn't put that any higher than like mod play, to be quite honest with you. And that kind of goes into like a PSA 5 range for me. If that is a dent. If that's not a dent, then you're kind of looking at like a 7, just due to the whitening on the back. So that's kind of where I'm at. So I'd say if that is not a dent, you're more of a 7. If it is a dent, you're more of a 5. So that's kind of where I'm at on that bad boy. I appreciate that, Hakan. Rudy, thanks for the follow. Can you look over my Lugia Altar? I can only grade by BGS. I mean, yeah, like I said, if you want to just click the link in my bio, join the Discord, submit the picture and grade review. We'd definitely be happy to take a look at it in the future. Right now, the queue is closed for tonight, but I do stream every Wednesday. But it is first come, first serve, so just kind of keep that in mind. But if you want priority, the Discord server does offer subscriptions starting at $4.99, which gives you priority grade review each week. So just some things to consider. All right, next up is Morgan. So let's take a look. The right side and the bottom look pretty thick. So let's take a quick measurement here. So especially on this right side. So again, just kind of using this ruler just to kind of not like prove a point, but just make it a little bit easier for you guys to kind of see what I'm looking at here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on that left side, and then on the right, this one's kind of tough because you can kind of see there's a little bit of a camera blur, so it's a little bit tougher. Yes, I only do Pokemon cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5, I guess, because it's kind of difficult for me to see due to it being like kind of like a camera flare. So that left side looks good. And then for the support trainers, so it's kind of somewhat difficult to measure centering for these because the trainer support kind of banner is a little bit thicker on the top naturally. So I think we should be good there because the sides compared to the bottom look pretty good. So corners look good. Top right looks good. Top left. And I'd actually be really curious to see if you did submit this, if they would, because PSA recently has been kind of dinging a lot of people with miscuts. This kind of looks kind of sharper here on this right side than it does compared to the left. So I'd be curious if they dinged you on a miscut. I have not Dad Life. Let's see. There does appear to be some possible issues right here near the T and trainer. So you have like this really clearly hollow section. So we have 1, 2, 3. There might be some issues, but that might be a stretch and possibly some, but that might be on the texture because you kind of see like where the groove is. But aside from that, the surface looks really good. And this one would probably not get a 10 because of, let me just do this here. So we got this, boom. And so why I don't think it would get the 10 is because of this right here. A little bit of whitening there. That is more notable. We have something there. Possibly here on that top left. And as we kind of go down the bottom, we have more whitening here on that bottom left-hand corner. Bottom edge looks good, but now we're starting to get a little bit more whitening on those edges. So we're kind of we're out of that 9 range for sure, like 9 or higher. We're kind of into that 8. But I'd say with those, because I'd say with this little bit of surface that I saw here, you can probably just wipe that off with, again, microfiber cloth, some distilled water. Not too concerned about that, but it's really just the whitening. And since the picture on the back is a little bit too blurry, there's really not much I can kind of say here. But if you're looking for it being like kind of like a 10 or bust, I don't think it would get the 10. Just due to the whitening, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 areas of whitening. You're probably looking more at an 8. If there are any more, or if there are any more issues that we simply can't tell because of the slight blurriness on the back, you're probably looking at a 7. But based on what I'm seeing, you're probably looking more at an 8. Will they wipe it for you as they inspect? So for now they don't, but they've been polling, they've been asking the community if they would be interested in some like very, very mild card cleaning, which is I have my own opinions on that, but people want me to get into it, I can, but always assume that they will not do that for you. So it's always better for you to kind of look and kind of do what we're talking about tonight, like some of the things that I observe and the things that we catch together. These are things that you should also be doing for your cards too. Because assume that they're not going to do it for you is kind of what I'm getting at. Okay, so the Celebi is actually really, really well centered from what I can tell. Corners look good. The surface looks great. Nothing really bad there. Now, the only thing that might be of a concern, and I've seen this like multiple times, and you guys probably have too with modern cards, is there might be a little bit of what I kind of call like a pack fold, like so a fold that kind of naturally came from the pack. So depending on the severity of this might prevent you from getting that, or it might be some weird shadowing effect that's kind of making it appear as such, because you can kind of see, and I'm kind of really metagaming here, like the binder grooves is kind of in line with the corner, so it might be the it might be the valley of the binder grooves that is kind of giving this illusion. So kind of keep that in mind, but if it's an illusion, then it looks like it's good. I don't see any whitening on the... actually, I do. I literally opened my mouth and I saw some, I think. Is right here. Right where the tip of my mouse is. Luca, in your opinion, what's the best grading company to send to? If you're talking about strictly return on investment, PSA. If you're talking about for your own personal collection with no intention of reselling it, it's personal preference. That's always my answer. I sent my first ever 15 cards, and I'm hoping for 10s, but realistically, I'm watching, I'm smoked. Well, hopefully not, Joseph. Hopefully hopefully you can make it out overall unscathed. So hopefully I wish the best for you. But yeah, I mean, that's why I like to do these streams. You know, I like to try to educate you guys as much as I can. At the end of the day, I'm a big trust through transparency kind of guy. And I just try to give you, you know, I'm a vendor. I do this as a side job for a very long time. And I just try to, you know, I think that a lot of this information should not be gatekept and should not be like obscured. So that's why I try to answer as truthfully as I can. Like what Luca asked me, what's the best grading company? I gave him very direct answer. If you're looking for ROI, it's going to be PSA. That's why most vendors, on average, will probably turn down other slabs because the return on investment for a vendor isn't there. Because most people want PSA. That's just the nature of the market at the moment. There are a few exceptions, obviously, with like black labels, like with BGS or some with CGC. It's more on the side of Beckett than it is CGC. But just kind of keep that in mind. We've talked about it a few times, Mason, but I'm sure you'll see. We have a few more submissions tonight, so I'm sure you all, if I see one with a good example, I'll definitely let you know. It's kind of tough to kind of talk about it without showing you a card that I would think is a good example, but I'm sure we'll come across one. So Brute Bonnet, let's take a look. Centering looks good. The only thing that I see that it might just be something stuck on the card is right where the tip of my mouse is. Right in that magnified area. So there's a little bit of white dot right there. But my gut says that you can probably just wipe that off. The rest of the card looks good. Centering looks good. The only thing that I see, really... how do I feel about someone trying to restore their cards? So I guess we have to define, like, the line of restoration. So I am against, like, for example, for transparency, I use distilled water, Q-tips, and microfiber cloths. That's all I use. So I will remove, like, things like dirt or grime, stuff that was added to a card. But my line is drawn where, you know, if you're intending on reselling it or giving it to someone else, I don't use anything that adds to a card, such as like wax or chemicals or pens or anything like that. Now, having said that, if you're trying to restore your own cards and for your own personal collection, if you want to do whatever, that's totally up to you. But from the perspective of a business, which I would consider myself a business in this space, I don't do anything that would be considered alteration, which is adding something to a card for it to remain on the card after you're done processing it. So that's kind of my 2 cents. Oh, that's awesome, Tasha. Yeah, so this is pretty much what I go through. So yeah, I'd say the only thing that I'd kind of keep check with here, Eric, is you have a little bit of some print lines here or some surface wear on this right edge. So you have 1, 2, so there's a little bit. My guess is that it almost looks like it was side-loaded in a side-load binder, because you can kind of see these kind of scratches only on this one side, but not really present on the other. So this might, depending on the severity of these might knock you down a peg for a surface upgrade on that right side. But aside from that, the corners look good. It's really just that surface I'm kind of worried about on this right side. So, but yeah, I mean, and again, this little bit, which appears to be just something stuck on there, just wipe that off and you should be good. But now I feel all nervous. I got Tasha working for Beckett over here. God, I feel like I'm in like a final exam. Raph, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Are these viewers cards that you are reviewing? They are. Yep. I've seen some videos of some kind of polish that, yeah, there's a lot of different people that use different polishes and different like sprays and stuff like that. And, you know, it's just, at the end of the day, there's a lot of things out there, but, you know, that's just kind of my 2 cents. I've definitely done videos in the past of me just kind of getting rid of like dirt and grime, like even in my link tree. If you kind of scroll all the way down to the bottom with like card cleaning, this Espeon, that's a really good example of what I do most of the time. You just kind of want to get a sense. Okay, so 5E. We got the Moon Kitty, the Umbreon VMAX. Love it or hate it, this card is huge. So let's take a look. Yeah, Luca, so I can just go over that real quick before I address this Umbreon. So if you guys are curious and want to submit your cards for a free grade review in the future, again, I do this every Wednesday starting at around 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern. If you're watching me on Twitch, which I multi-stream too, that link is going to be in the description. If you're watching me on TikTok, it's going to be in my bio. Once you're here, you're going to go and click or tap the Discord icon. Next, you're going to submit your pictures in the grade review channel. Again, it's completely for free. You can submit as many as you want, but there are some caveats. First, just make sure that you follow the rules that are pinned in the pinned messages of the channel. For example, this card is not in a top loader or a penny sleeve or anything like that, so I can review it. So if there was a scratch, I don't have to question if it's on the sleeve, top loader, you guys get it. The next one is I review up to 5 cards per person per stream. So if you submit 20, I'll only review the first 5, so on and so forth. And lastly, but probably the most important, that it is first come, first serve. So again, it is free, but the faster you can submit, the faster you'll get into the queue. But sometimes the queues do get a little bit long sometimes, and you might have to wait, you know, a few weeks for you to be up. However, if you want your cards assessed faster, the Discord server does offer priority grade review as a subscription at certain tiers starting at $4.99 and higher. So in addition to some other cool perks, you also have priority grade review that way too. So you get are first in line on the next stream, which again is Wednesday starting at 7 o'clock p.m. So that's how you do it. Black, yes, because you can see whitening a lot better with a black background. Dinger. Awesome, Luco. I appreciate that. Okay, so this Umbreon is very well centered. Again, we're really looking at this left side and the right side, so very, very good there. Corners look great. Top right, top left, bottom right look fantastic. I'm not really seeing anything wrong inherently with the surface. Again, texture cards, reviewing it during grade review, it makes it a little bit difficult because it's so textured and the lighting and all that stuff. That's a good trade. Yes, Jay. If you saw what I was kind of like, if you've seen me before, I do, but I'm still learning some techniques. However, for those who are looking for like a master guide, I have partnered with Rocket Collects to provide a master guide on how to clean cards. Again, I only really advocate for like from the business perspective. I will be transparent, there are instances where it talks about like using wax. And for me personally, again, I only use any method that just uses distilled water, Q-tips, and microfiber cloths. But it's also good if you're trying to use it for your own personal collection. I don't have anything wrong with polish if you're trying to keep it for your own personal and you don't sell it or don't try to do anything with it. So just transparency, but that master guide is still very, very good. So let's see. Top left white spot. That's all right. We'll just do this. It is what it is. We got him. It's so odd. But anyway. And thank you for the follow, by the way. So the top left, and that might be... I'm not too sure. That is a good... I would say for this top left spot, Ben, that might be, but it might not be, just due to this area. Luca, thank you for the follow over on Twitch. Appreciate you, man. So that may or may not be some. That might be something that 5e might have to check in person. Let's see. It is well centered. At first glance, the top right corner looks good. The only thing is that's a little bit of an angle, so it's kind of tougher to see, but I'd say it's good. The top left, that top right looks good. Top left, but there are some marks that I think I want to make just to kind of cover our bases here. So here are things that I would wipe off because it looks like it is something that you can wipe off. So this right here, that looks like something you can just wipe off with a microfiber cloth or something like that. Top left looks good. And again, we're kind of like a little pixelated a little bit because I'm really zooming in. Here and here. The bottom left corner looks good. That bottom edge looks good. I mean, it's a little bit difficult in this more lit up area. Bottom right corner looks good. And again, same thing here. And this looks like it's just the background. This section and this section. But, so kind of zoomed out, those are kind of the marks that I've made. But I think if the marks that I made can either be just wiped off with a microfiber or as part of the background, like more so in this section. Little 8-ball there. I think this has a good shot at getting a 10. The only thing that I would double check, which we can't really tell from this stream, is whether or not that is whitening. My guess is that it's not, only because it kind of matches the purple kind of hue, which leads me to believe that it's just part of the foil and less of whitening. But as always, definitely double check in person. But from what I'm seeing, this is a pretty good 10 contender. And if it were my card, I would submit it. Centering looks off in the back. It might, but it might be because you can kind of see the lighting here. So kind of see how the shadow kind of gets a little bit bigger. It's a little bit curved, but this is a good example. Someone asked me before. So if I were to submit this card, even though it should not have any impact on your grade, you should definitely put this in a penny sleeve and put it in like a heavy book to kind of flatten it out a little bit. It shouldn't hurt the grade, but it's better to be safe than sorry, in my opinion. How are you allowed to grade? I don't know. I guess I just am. I don't know. You can check cards for people. Yes, I do this for free every Wednesday, TK. Just to kind of help people if they're kind of if they just want a kind of a second opinion before they spend, you know, if this Umbreon VMAX, for example, it's a pretty penny just to get it graded. So it's kind of a nice kind of have someone double check it for you and kind of weigh in unbiased before you kind of shell out your money. Once I am done with, so I have this card and a Mew EX, and once I'm done, or VMAX rather, once I'm done with a Mew VMAX, I'll go over how to do it. How much does it cost to grade a card? Are you talking about for stream or just in general? In general, it can start from anywhere from $18.99, which is currently the cheapest if you don't have a subscription. Or if you do have a subscription for PSA, but you have to submit 20. I think GameStop is 16 bucks. There's a lot of... But for this, what you're seeing now is free. What I do is for the community every week, and it's totally free. Han and Blood Rush, thank you guys for the follows. Appreciate that. And I'm a go. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the kind words tonight, guys. If you guys are new here, I definitely appreciate all the love and support, and I'm glad you guys are finding some value in it. It really does mean a lot. At the end of the day, I try to help everyone kind of go through these crazy times and try to answer as many questions as I can, fully transparent. So, Guy, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. The Whale Lord. Well centered. No issues with the corners, so we're good there. Surface looks good. And the back. So let's do this. Let's see if you guys are paying attention. So there is something on this card that leads me to believe that it would not get the 10. Does anyone want to, aside from this bottom left, which I think is the more of the lighting, does anyone see what I would probably be concerned about regarding this card not getting a 10? Just want to make sure that you guys are paying attention here. Yes. Yep. You guys got it. So this, and so someone was asking me not too long ago, you know, why, like, how impactful is whitening on a card? And this is a really good example of, because I knew it would come up, that right here, this little white dot, since we can see it on stream, chances are PSA will see it and they will probably knock that off from a 10 to a 9. Now, sometimes there are instances where it's a little bit more mild than this that have gotten 10s. I have seen it firsthand, and I know that it is a thing. But my gut, based off of us being able to see this without any zoom or anything like that, the fact that you guys can see it, that would probably be a bit too much to kind of pass under the radar. And so I think even though the centering's perfect, corners are good, it's just that little white dot on the top edge on the back that probably hold this Whale Lord from getting the 10. So this is a really good example. If you guys have ever trying to ask or ever wondering the impact of whitening, For this is a really good, that right there is a really good example of this card getting a 9 because of it. TK, thanks for the follow. I actually have, let's see. I have one more. What am I using to do this? Honestly, all I'm doing, Vin, is just, this is on Chrome, and I just look at people's pictures that they submit in Discord. I'll just put it on a Chrome tab, and I'll just use a Chrome extension. So the one here that you're seeing with the zoom is called Magnifying Glass Hover Zoom. So I think I'm going to read this question out loud because I think it's really important, because this is one of the things that has been circulating in the community recently. So, and I'm not like, this isn't a shot at Noah, but I think it's worth kind of saying out loud. So a toothpick dipped in blue paint, just touch on it, could potentially cure that. So something like that I know has been circulating in the community recently, but that would be considered an alteration because you're adding something to a card to hide some imperfection, because like the intention is to hide it, so it is considered an alteration at the end of the day. You know, and some people will always say, you know, well, maybe they might not catch it, but you know, it's no different than, you know, like, yeah, you can technically ride a car without a seatbelt, but it's against the law, right? Just as an example. So think of that as like you're kind of riding without a seatbelt. Just kind of putting it there. You can do it. Sometimes you can get away with it, but sometimes you can't. It is extremely frowned upon, especially if people have the intention. Like, I could never imagine doing that as a vendor, like touching up my cards and selling them and saying that they're near mint. That would be a death sentence for my business if anyone thought I was doing that. But again, I know you didn't mean anything malicious about it, but I think that's a really important thing to discuss. Because again, I've been seeing that a lot in like short form content recently, of people kind of sharing their formula on how to address it. But thank you for bringing that up genuinely. How long will you be doing this grading, and where can I join the Discord? Sure. So let me just load up this. And this is a really good example on how to take your pictures, guys. This Mew VMAX, super clear and super crisp. But I'll go over how to submit the card right now. So if you guys want to submit a card for a future grade review, this is how you do it. So if you're watching me on Twitch, which I'm also... man, I can't talk because I've been yapping the whole night. I'm multi-streaming to Twitch, which is in the description. And in TikTok, the link is in the bio. You're going to go to the link tree. Next, you're going to click or tap the Discord icon. You're then going to submit your cards in the grade review channel. And basically just have like what Hakan took. This Mew VMAX is an excellent example on how to take your picture. Super zoomed in, very high definition. The lighting is perfect. It's out of a sleeve. It's out of a top loader. It's not graded. Like, this card is going to be really easy for me to assess. So this is a good example on how to do it. The other thing is that it's a completely free service. I stream grade reviews every Wednesday at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern. The only thing to keep in mind is, since it is free, I only review 5 cards per person per stream. You can submit as many as you want, but I'll only review the first 5. And it is first come, first serve. So sometimes the queues do get a little bit long. So you'll have to be a little bit patient with me, because I won't probably get to your card, you know, for maybe a week or 2 weeks or whatever. So you'll have to be patient. However, if you do want your card assessed as soon as possible, I have subscriptions in the Discord starting at $4.99 and up that give you priority grade review, along with some other cool perks as well. So like giveaways and some stuff like that. So, so yeah, that's how you do it. Noah, Prowler, and Jordan, thank you guys for the follows. Appreciate that. Can a card still get a 10 even with a very small and not visual indent? So I mean, technically, if it's not visual, then it doesn't exist, right? So, but just keep in mind, Sander, this is how I see it. If you can see it, they can see it. Semi, what's going on, man? It seems like it's been forever since I've seen you pop in. Hopefully everything's good. I always remember you for that, like, because how I see your profile picture is like super small. And like how it looks, it's like kind of like in my face. But yeah, always assume if you can see it, they can see it. Okay, so centering. Centering looks good. And again, as a refresher, for VMAXs, you're really looking at these white areas right here. So boom and boom. So that's really where you're kind of looking. And centering looks good. It's like visually, it looks a little bit thicker on the right than the left, but it's definitely within a 55-45 for sure. But I think it's really good. I think you're definitely within that range. So on the back centering is really good. And as we kind of look over here, these might just be stuck on little fuzzies, I guess, like this little bit of white here on the top. And maybe here looks like something stuck on there. But that's about it. And you can just probably wipe that off. And like these little bits of white on the cardstock, I think you can just kind of, if you just take a quick pass with a microfiber to kind of get some of that stuff off, I think you should be good. But honestly, man, this card on the front and the back looks really clean. Those corners are super, super nice, to be quite honest with you. The edges look fantastic. The corners look really good. Yeah, it looks really good. TK, if you go on my link tree, so you're at my link tree, you click my link in my bio, you click or tap that Discord icon right there. Right there. And while I'm waiting for TK to look at the Discord icon on the link tree, I also have a new vendor POV out. If you guys want to see me in action, do some vendor stuff. So that is out now if you want to take a look at that. But yeah, I think that this is a strong 10 contender for sure. I really think that it's great. Quick pass with a lighter, right? So, yeah, among other things, I think. Among other things. So yeah, I think that's a really strong 10, my man. Salty Mike, thank you for the follow. So yeah, that is a grade review in a nutshell, my friends. So let me just go to just chatting if you guys are new here. What's going on? Galaxy Gaming. So yeah, that's a grade review in a nutshell. Again, I do this every Wednesday, so always appreciate you guys stopping by, hanging out. For those of you who are new here, thank you guys so much for showing the love. It was a really cool stream tonight. Always a pleasure to talk shop and talk nerd and look at cool cards. So I definitely appreciate all the love and support. Again, I stream every Wednesday, so if you want episode 72, make sure to follow and join the Discord. Link is in the bio. I sent some in tonight. Will they be graded next week? Probably, like, transparently, Hannah, probably not. The only way that you could probably get them graded next week would be, I guess, like a selfish plug would have to be to subscribe to the Discord to get priority grade review. But because there's a bit of a queue, but just to be completely transparent. Ooh, thanks for the gift, Semi. But yeah, appreciate you guys as always. You guys are the best, and thank you for the love, and I will see you guys in the next one.